Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, folks. I hope you are all very well. Mark here from M1 Racing. Now, this is a bit of an unscheduled stream, and sadly, we have no live racing for you today. However, I promised at the end of our last live stream to share the results of both the sprint and feature race from round 7 of the G-Force Racing League, as we weren't able to go through these at the time, and that's what we're going to do in a few moments. This also gives me the opportunity to test out some new streaming tools and graphics that we have for the channel ahead of our live coverage tomorrow of round 8, but more on that in a moment. It is just going to be a very short stream today, but if you are watching with me, please do say hi in the chat. It's great to have you here spending a bit of time with me on M1 Racing. I am on my own, so no Pete or Rio today, but they will be back with us tomorrow. So, before we look at the results from last week, let's take a look at a short collection of highlights from both the sprint and feature race to remind ourselves of what happened. This was round 7 of the G-Force Racing League from Austin in Texas at the Circuit of the Americas. All right, we're lined up on the grid. 3 lights on, 4 lights on, 5 lights on. All right, folks, let's go racing. Spicy Nuts looks to have a good start at MVR as we come away on lap 1 of the sprint race. And we've got Spicy Nuts right on the inside there of MVR, trying to take an early lead as we head down the hill towards turn 2. MVR holding on to that lead right now, but we've also got Joe Bean, who didn't seem to lose any places or made them up immediately on the start, is in 3rd place. SHS dropping back into 4th from there, and MVR looking to get away from Spicy Nuts. We thought for a moment there Spicy Nuts had a run on MVR Rio, but they couldn't make it stick round turn 1. Now it looks as though there's change of positions here as Joe Bean going down the inside of SHS. So Joe Bean giving that up. That's the power of DRS. But SHS hanging it into the inside. There's a great battle going here for 2nd place in this really twisty, turny part of the track. And we see Spicy Nuts looking to get in on the action. So Joe Bean holding them off, SHS right behind them, but nothing to choose between them as they go wheel to wheel through these corners. Very brave driving, but very clean by the looks of things. As we come down, and Spicy Nuts looking on the inside of Joe Bean. Joe Bean not really fighting. Well, they are. As I say, that pushes them quite wide, but they stay on the inside, and there's contact between Spicy and the Mercedes, and that allows Mac T through. So Mac T moving up into 4th. That'll actually put Mac T onto the podium. I don't think any of us saw that one coming. So Mac T, if they can hold on to that, is going to really benefit from that coming together between Spicy and Joe. So SHS, I see MVR winning the sprint race here from Texas. SHS going to come over the line to finish in 2nd. Spicy Nuts will finish 3rd on the track, but will lose that place to Mac T. All right, folks, let's go racing. As MVR leads us away again, SHS is going to try and make it stick this time into turn 1. I'll see if they've learned from that first race. Indeed they have. So SHS gets up at the inside of MVR and leads us away. MVR under a fair bit of pressure. Actually Hypno getting through, potentially in front of MVR. So Hypno moves up into 2nd place. MVR losing 2 positions off the start line for the feature race. Well, we see SHS not giving up on those softs yet. They're down the inside of Mac T. So whether or not Mac T made a mistake, but SHS taking real advantage. But now we've got 3 cars wide through turns 14 and 15. SHS getting the best of that particular battle, but Mac T not giving out now. Slow exit by SHS. So Mac T looking to try and get through back on SHS. We come around that big sweeping corners of 17 and 18. On to 19. SS7 will be hoping for some kind of contact, these 2 cars in front. No need to get involved necessarily, but they will now have DRS as we start at lap 11 of the G-Force Racing League from the Circuit of the Americas. Now Mac T getting down the inside of SHS into turn 1. These places changing every moment of the race, it seems. Nearly every other corner as we just come round the final corners here. We come to MVR as they cross the finishing line for Ferrari. 1st place for MVR and Ferrari. Congratulations to them. for another victory on the G-Force Racing League. SHS is coming around to finish in second spot. Another good drive for SHS, another second place for them. Second place again with last week at Silverstone. They get second place here in Austin. MACT coming around to come in third place. I'm going to move away from that very briefly as we see the cars finishing their laps here. So congratulations to all of our drivers. Spicy Nuts coming home in fourth. Emeleki being promoted into fifth. SS7 in sixth. So a real short highlights package for you this week. But if you are interested in us doing a lot more of that, do let us know. I'm more than happy to spend the time putting those together. I could have bought a number of hours worth of material together for that, but I felt it was probably easier if you just go and watch the race. Both of them, the sprint and the feature, were excellent races from start to finish with highlights galore throughout. So if you'd like to catch up on both races in full, you can watch those on our Twitch channel and also on our YouTube channel. We tend to try and get that updated almost immediately after the races have finished. So you can follow us on both of those channels. And if you'd like us to do more in the way of highlights packages in the future, I'm sure our drivers would be keen for us to do that. Do let us know and we'll put a bit more time into putting those together. But hopefully that gave you a good sense of the really close racing that we had last week in Austin. So what does that mean for the results of those? So if we take a look at the sprint race results first of all, and this is what we couldn't get to properly last Wednesday. So J-Repo, MVR as we otherwise know them live on the stream, they came home first in the sprint race, followed by SHS for Aston Martin in second, and MACT also for Ferrari in third place. So a great result for Ferrari in the sprint. Hypno came in fourth for Red Bull, Spicy in fifth, and we saw them battling with Joe Bean there in the sprint race. Joe Bean coming in sixth, and SS7 seems to have bagged themselves a decent teammate to join them at Mercedes, and they are probably going to need them as we go into the second half of the season. Emeleki came through in seventh, another strong performance from McLaren there. SS7 through in eighth in the sprint. Di Biaggi was with us for the first time. They finished in ninth in the sprint for AlphaTauri. Wands came in 10th, and those top 10 are the only drivers that will get points from the sprint race. So the sprint race is much shorter, only 10 laps long, and as a result, only the first 10 drivers get points out of that. Our other finishers, though, David T, in their home Grand Prix, we understand, came in 11th. So well done to David. N1A for Alfa Romeo in 12th. L Alex 1 in 13th. Andre Lunde in 14th. Obo in 15th. Mr. Hannes in 16th. Domo Pierce appeared to have a tough race in the sprint. We usually see them a little bit further up than that, but the sprint was a little bit tough for them. They finished down there in 17th, and also with a few penalties as well. And Ace Pilot in 18th. But I think what's notable about this particular set of results is it's the first time, I think, in the early history of the G-Force Racing League where we've had all drivers finish a race. So congratulations to our drivers for that particular feat. And also congratulations to J-Repo for setting the fastest lap of the sprint race, a 1:34.838 on those medium tyres. But keep a close eye on that fastest lap as we go into the results for the feature race. The feature race really did feature battles all the way down the grid, literally, as you saw from the highlights there, from the very first corner onwards. And it was really tough to know which best ones to pick out. But there were a number of 2-car wide battles, and then, as you saw on the feed there, a brilliant 3-car wide one as well. And that raged on throughout the whole race, with one exception, and that was MVR J-Repo, who blitzed the field, disappearing off into the distance, finishing first for Ferrari, as they did in the sprint. So 2 first places for MVR in Austin. And just look at that fastest lap time, a 1:33.413, a good 2 seconds plus clear of anyone else trying to set a faster faster lap. Indeed, the only person who actually got anywhere near to them was McAtee, their teammate, coming in third place. So J-Repo having a very good day in Austin last week. We are intrigued to see if they can continue it when we head into round 8 tomorrow. So SHS came in second again for Aston Martin. Again, good strong points for SHS and Aston Martin. McAtee there in third. McAtee was my driver of the day in Austin, and I think deservedly so. Good showing from them. They looked strong in Silverstone the week before, but looked even stronger in Austin. So congratulations to McAtee coming in third. So 2 third places for them, and that's not going to do them any harm at all in the driver standings. Spicy came in fourth. Emelecki came in fifth, and I should actually mention Spicy had a coming together with SS7. SS7 lost it on the last corner of one lap, and Spicy unfortunately went into the side of SS7, just purely accidental, but that compromised Spicy's race. Otherwise, I think they could have had quite some battle with McAtee towards the end. So no blame apportioned, but hopefully SS7 will keep it pointing in the right direction next time around. So Emelecki came in fifth. SS7 finished in sixth in the feature race. Hypno finished in seventh for Red Bull. Obo came in eighth for AlphaTauri, and I'm liking the look of how Obo is driving. They look like a good addition to the G-Force Racing League, so we welcome them, and I think AlphaTauri will be delighted with their performances so far. N1A came in ninth. L Alex won there again in 10th. It's good to have L Alex back. I think they had a bit of an issue in the previous race, so didn't actually get to start the race. So it's good to see them in both races in Austin. David T there again in 11th spot for Haas. Domo Pierce moving up the field in the feature race. That seemed to have a much better race in the feature. They finished 12th for McLaren, and both those drivers picking up good points for that team. One seemed to have a bit of a tough race in the feature race. Maybe it wasn't quite their best track, but maybe we'll see a different showing from them in round 8. Andre Lunde, one of our newer drivers to the league, we welcome them. They finished in 14th, but they certainly finished, whereas the following 4 drivers sadly did not. So our DNFs were Mr. Hannes, DBAG, Ace Pilot, and Joe B. Now, I understand Joe had a major issue with their steering wheel at the start of the feature race, so unfortunately that took them out very, very early on after what was a very strong showing in the sprint race. So we very much hope they will be back for round 8, and we'll see them further up the grid, as indeed I'm sure their teammate SS7 will be hoping for as well. So what does that mean for the drivers and constructor standings? Well, you're going to need to wait to find out. You'll need to tune in to M1 Racing tomorrow, Wednesday the 22nd of November, when we are starting a little earlier than usual, about 7:45 p.m. UK time. Rio, Pete and myself are going to go through a quick mid-season review. We'll talk about some of the most memorable moments of Season 1 so far, and also take a look at those all-important standings for drivers and constructors as we head into the second half of the season. That's going to be followed immediately by our live coverage of round 8 of the G-Force Racing League, which this week will be coming from the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. So join us then for some more wheel-to-wheel action with the G-Force Racing League under the lights in Singapore. And if it's anything like last week in Austin, you don't want to miss it. If you'd like us to do more of these highlights packages, perhaps a bit of a chat with Rio and maybe bring on some of the drivers, do let us know and we'll see if we can sort something out. Appreciate you coming on with us today and just catching up with the G-Force Racing League and M1 Racing. Set your diaries for 7:45 p.m. UK time tomorrow for round 8 of the G-Force Racing League from Singapore. And thanks for your company today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.